What's so scary about us? I mean, I know it's new, but sometimes new things aren't what you expect it to be.
Maybe sometimes change is okay.
Yeah, sometimes change is okay. We need change.
We're trying to get to the heart of the issue about why bathroom policies are so disruptive for transgender kids. That is why we've come to Delaware to talk to a transgender child, Trinity, a 13-year-old transgender girl. The battle over transgender bathroom rights recently gained national attention with the Supreme Court case of Gavin Grimm, the teenager at the heart of the transgender civil rights movement. Grimm's story represents that of thousands of other trans youth, like Trinity, who has faced discrimination for over a decade. Trans kids already have a lot to deal with, let alone discriminatory education systems. We met with Trinity as she was about to receive a hormone-blocking implant, a common treatment for transgender youth to help them transition through puberty.
I'm gonna get my implant right over here. It's gonna stop puberty for 2 years instead of 3 months.
You know, when I was growing up, there wasn't even the word transgender in the news.
I didn't know it either. I mean, 10 years ago, there was nothing for us to go on. And then luckily, I saw on YouTube, it was a 2020 episode.
Do people treat you differently when they know you're transgender?
Yes, they do. They don't understand what the concept means, and they think that I shouldn't have the same rights as them.
And I was like, oh, that's it, that's what's happening. And I was able to show my husband, I'm like, this is what we're dealing with. I asked her, are you a boy or a girl? And she looked at me, she's like, I'm a girl. Not, I want to be a girl. I like to pretend I'm a girl. I am a girl.
At age 3, Trinity suffered from acute depression and anxiety even after being treated by therapists, specialists, and medication. Finally, Trinity's parents decided to listen to their child and give her what she'd been asking for. At age 4, Trinity socially transitioned and was allowed to live as a girl.
And they didn't even see me. I was so sad.
Did you know that you were a girl?
Yeah, I knew I was a girl. I don't like being called a boy. I hate it, and it makes me upset.
She was isolating herself. She was withdrawing, and she stopped responding to her name, and she was just sad. In fact, the school psychologist believed that she had clinical depression.
I told my parents I was a girl. Then they actually listened. I kept wearing mom's dresses and her wigs.
Yeah, I saw a photo.
I know. See, it was fun for me to dress up in that stuff. I like dressing up. I think it happened my birthday. Mom gave me a dress, and I was so happy.
She came out wearing the pink and brown My Little Pony dress that I had picked out, and she was smiling. And I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen that in months. And she's like, is it mine? And I was like, yes. If we hadn't have listened to her and addressed her the way she knew she was, I would not have this child. Mm-hmm. I think she would have taken her life. Mm-hmm. Once we did, a few months later, I love that picture.
It looks like someone who's been brought back to life. While Trinity found acceptance at home, as she entered kindergarten, the school administrators promptly refused to accept her gender identity.
I didn't like what the teachers kept saying to me. They always called me a boy. And then sometimes I get nightmares of them.
What was their position around bathrooms?
They did not know what bathroom she would use. And they're like, well, the child would have to use the nurse's bathroom. I'm like, so you're isolating my child and you're actually making them more of a target. You're gonna make her a target. You're literally hearing parents say, well, my child fears going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to be hurt. They are willing to damage their kidneys. They are willing to just not go or go on themselves if they're really young.
In addition to barring Trinity from the girls' restroom and disregarding her gender identity, the school insisted that she wear a name tag displaying her former name and gender assigned at birth.
All we wanted was our child to be treated like any other child.
Yeah.
And here we are, like, okay, well, we'll homeschool. You have 7 15s, and you're adding them. Since they already have a common denominator of 15.
And you left your job so
I
that
left
you could
my
homeschool.
job to homeschool my children. I just was that angry. I'm like, if this school is willing to not educate my daughter, why on earth would I entrust them to properly educate my son? And so I took them both out. Here I am fighting the civil rights for my daughter as a trans person, but then there's also that added fact that she is a black person too. I could lose her because there is a statistic that shows that black trans women don't necessarily make it to age 35. It's disappointing that as a person of color, knowing where my mother's generation came from, that I am now fighting for the civil rights and the human rights of my child in 2017.
They were mean. They wanted to bully me. We're normal people, but they think we're monsters. We're still students. What are we gonna do?
We can try some practice on the computer, and then we'll go to the next video. Sometimes people homeschool because they don't really feel comfortable with the public school system. We had to homeschool because we wanted our child to continue to live. And that was really hard. We ended up dropping below the poverty level. It was such a far drop that we eventually needed to go on food benefits to feed our children. Sometimes I could barely put $5 in my car to get my children to doctor appointments. I was an educated woman with a loving husband, wonderful kids, with 1 can of beans in her cabinet. We had our car repossessed because we couldn't afford to pay it. We had to do things that put us in a place that we're still struggling to get out of. So remember, if the denominator is the same, you only add the numerator.
Mom did have to sacrifice her job, but for me, so I can be protected.
Could you imagine being in a boys' bathroom?
I hate it. I'll be too uncomfortable. It'll scare me a lot. They'll see like, oh, why is this girl in the bathroom?
Courts today are arguing over the right for transgender Americans to use the bathroom. Many states have drafted anti-trans bathroom bills, yet there are federal anti-sex discrimination protections like Title IX. Now that the Supreme Court has chosen not to hear the case of Gavin Grimm, the transgender bathroom debate will drag on, forcing kids like Trinity to continue the fight for basic civil rights.
So what is 3 plus?
It's 8.
What kind of message would you want to share to other transgender kids?
Never give up. Keep fighting.
Where does that strength come from for you?
Believing in yourself, education, and love.
Trinity is finishing 8th grade this year and will be leaving home and entering the public school system next fall. Her mother spent months looking for an affirmative high school, one that would recognize Trinity's gender and allow her to use the girls' bathroom. Are you looking forward to going to this new school? Tell me about what the school's like.
I can't wait to tell you. So it's a computer animation school. So when you get Minecraft, you can play them. We'll probably do multiplayer because it'll be hard.
I would love to play multiplayer Minecraft with you. This is a kid who's really smart, who loves the color pink and likes to play Minecraft. And it's so clear how it's not just about a bathroom, how it's about civil rights, and how actually saying you can't use the bathroom of the gender you identify with disrupts your entire life. It could mean that you have to switch schools, it could mean that you have to be homeschooled, it could mean that you can't go to school at all. Meeting Trinity, talking to her, so you see how abstract that aspect of it is for her, and how for her she's just a kid.